morning to everybody and welcome. Good morning, everybody. Okay, we got to get going here in Las Vegas, huh? Well, David has been fantastic. Can you imagine starting up a new company, which is essentially what the ACA has been, with 1,000 new employees on day one? It's been quite an amount of work for him and all the executive folks and all the leaders of the advisory committees. So thanks so much for coming. It is fantastic to see so many of you here today embracing the ACA partnership. Remember, this is your organization, and its power is a direct function of your involvement. And thank you, by the way, for inviting me here today to update you on what's new at Abbott. I'd also like to give a special thanks to our sponsors, because they are critical to enabling us to put on this event. Hopefully you've had a chance to say hello to one of our gold sponsors, I should say, not one of, the gold sponsor, which is CloudPraise. They have been simply fantastic. I hope you've gotten a chance to get to know them. And also, I'm very excited to have our platinum sponsor here with us today, HP Workstations, a partner of ours, an incredible partner of ours for over 18 years with Abbott. So thanks to both of them, they've been incredible. Check out them and all of our sponsors at our Solutions Showcase. All right, it's really amazing how far we have come just since last year. Only our second year here together with this annual gathering, and membership and attendance has grown dramatically. You know, this is an incredible time for our industry. And last year was, in many ways, just a beginning for Abbott, a beginning for us together in our next phase of our journey. You see, we set out to address some of the most important issues that the industry faces, building on our heritage and our reach to over 140 countries around the world, with some of the most talented creative professionals and well-regarded media companies in the world. It all culminated in some of the most sweeping and ambitious product announcements since our inception. We also launched the ACA, we launched the Abbott Advantage, and we've had a dramatic acceleration of our business. It's been fun, it's been a lot of work, and together we have been busy. And we have been blessed with an incredible community, pushing us to do better, pushing us to lead. And the ACA has already had a significant influence on our work, from debating metadata standards, to prioritizing feature enhancements, to defining the security elements, which just yesterday they voted on an ad hoc committee to really step that effort up, because we know how important it is to everybody, to beta testing some of the products that you're going to be seeing here today on stage. The ACA partnership has become powerful. And this too, though, is just a beginning. And you've made it all happen. You've made it happen by being our partner, by believing in us, by putting your trust and faith in us. And together, we're reshaping the industry. Now, my team has a lot of fun, of course, at my expense, tracking everywhere I've been all around the world since the last time we met here last year, and talking about Abbott Everywhere. And there hasn't been a region that I haven't visited, and I can tell you we have a vocal following. It's really our secret ingredient. Your candor, your partnership, your support has been critical. And we've had over 100 follow-up events all around the world, and it's been great meeting so many of you. And by the way, team, thanks so much for reminding me where I am today. I could really use the help. I can see the little red dot. I think that looks like Vegas there, doesn't it? You know, it's been interesting because a lot of people, as I've traveled around, have congratulated me. They've thanked me for what we're doing, or trying to do, for the industry. And those on social media who follow me and interact with me, that's also been great, all the comments and support and suggestions that we've been getting. But make no mistake about it, we know that it's our partnership with you that makes all this happen. And for that, I want to thank you. You know, I can't wait to fill you in on the latest, which is what I'll be sharing with you here today. And it's important to me that you, the Avid community, gets to hear this first before we roll out these products at NAB in a day or so. So, let's get started. What a fantastic year it's been for storytelling, and for all of you. You know, from the most inspiring news stories, the sporting events that united us, TV productions that made us chuckle, the digital games that captured our imagination, music and live production that excited our senses, and of course, films that inspired us. What a year for our industry, and you represent the best of the current generation. You know, for our clients, I'm so proud of the recognition that they've seen. From the ACE Awards, the Grammys, to the Oscars, almost every major award in every category, our clients have taken home. It's been fun, it's been really exciting. And we've always been part of the family. They're with you every step of the way, working to find the joy out of the work that we do together. And as exciting as many people see our industry, we know that your work is important. Because stories have always been a part of our social fabric. And you represent the best storytellers of our generation. You know, I have to admit, I feel so privileged and humbled with the work that I see. You know, my last visit before going back to Boston and getting ready for this event and all the fun and chaos that goes on with that was to Stamford, Connecticut. I visited NBC Sports. They should be here in the room somewhere. Before that, I was at Full Sail University, amazing partner of ours on the education side. I was before that in the Middle East with Al Jazeera and NBC and Saudi TV and others in the region. And the reason I mention them is not just to go over my last few weeks, but it doesn't matter where I go, anywhere in the world, the people and the work are truly amazing. And last year was just the latest examples of the stories that connect all of us. Tools today, though, allow us to connect more powerfully, more globally than before. And this was on full display this year. Congratulations on a great year. Give yourselves a round of applause on an excellent year here in the media industry. You know, we were all born storytellers. Even before the written word, there were drawings, there were sounds, there were images connecting all of us to inform, to inspire, to educate. And technology has always played a key role in storytelling. So it's no surprise that as technology begins to accelerate, so too are the tools for telling stories. And some credit Avid, which actually starting the digitization of the workflow. We started, as you know, 26 years ago, taking film and converting it to a digital file record. We actually converted it back to analog to continue its journey. Of course, that has all changed today. A lot has changed in the last 10 to 15 years, and for those of you in audio, how many people remember manually recalling mixes and aligning tape machines? Does anybody in audio remember doing that? And now all that's just done with digital technologies, like a product some people know called Pro Tools. Anybody heard of Pro Tools here? A couple? I hope. Let's hear it for Pro Tools. Video is going to be next, so I'm going to give audio one more chance. Let's hear it for Pro Tools. For video, how many of you remember how irritating it was to deal with standards like NTSC and PAL and CCAM? Anybody remember those? Yeah? Okay. But we remember that we thought HD was going to make everything so much simpler. You guys remember that? What did we end up with? Everything got worse. But good news, I hear, people. I hear that UHD is on its way and it's going to solve all our problems again. I'm not sure if we should hold our collective breaths, but those were considered advanced technologies back then. Just like the Palm Pilot or the You've Got Mail ping from AOL, it's a distant memory for many, even though it really wasn't that long ago. And you know, because technology is changing almost every aspect of our lives, not everyone adapts at the same rate. I'm going to play a video here that represents one perspective. Check this out.
It's a reality. Yeah, because everything is amazing right now, and nobody's happy. Like, in my lifetime, the changes in the world have been incredible. When I was a kid, we had a rotary phone. We had a phone that you had to stand next to, and you had to dial it.
Yes.
You don't realize how primitive, you're making sparks in a phone, and you actually would hate people with zeros in their numbers because it was more like, oh, this guy's got 2 zeros, screw that guy, why do I... And then if they called and you weren't home, the phone would just ring lonely by itself. And then if you wanted money, you had to go in the bank for when it was open for like 3 hours. You had to stay in line, write yourself a check like an idiot. And then when you ran out of money, you just go, well, I can't do any more things now. I can't do any more things.
That's it, yeah.
That was it. I mean, even if you had a credit card, the guy would go, oh, and he'd bring out this whole shunk, and he'd write, but he'd have to call the president to see if you had any money.
It's all true, kids. You have to call the president.
Now we live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots that don't care, because this is what people are like now. They got their phone, they're like, it won't. Give it a second. It's going to space. Can you give it a second to get back from space? Is the speed that's true?
That was funny. I also like his name, I'll admit it. Actually, my son is here. You may see him running around, so we have the third running around here, and my daughters here, Kelsey and Louie. Well, I have no idea how many zeros I had in my phone number. I don't know if you guys remember. I'm not sure how many people I pissed off. I didn't really think about it. I do remember recording my answering machine message, and that being a big deal. Does anybody remember recording, and it had a set time, and you had to practice it out? Maybe that was the earliest form of media for some of us, right? And some of those were, you know which ones annoyed me actually, was when the person answered like, hi, this is Lewis, and then they'd say, I got you, leave a message. You guys remember those? Yeah, those were fun. Tonight I want to hear your old recorded messages. I still remember a couple of mine. I also remember trying to follow the phone cord around the corner to where my sisters were hiding out to get some privacy and stretching that cord as long as possible. Anybody do that at their house? Yeah, remember that too? Yeah, so a lot has changed. And in 15 years, I'm sure we'll be looking back at some of the technologies we have today and laugh at the fact that we were using them. We might laugh at the fact that our smartphones are limited, for instance, by a physical screen, something that is changing pretty rapidly. And these changes, you know, shouldn't surprise us, because digitization is connecting us in ways that we don't always appreciate. And sometimes we don't stop to even notice how we shop, how we meet people, how we pay for things, how we get a ride, how we communicate, how we educate ourselves. Technology is changing every aspect of the way we live. Some of you may know my father actually taught computer science, and it's been interesting to see how it's gone from the lab coats to the production floor, to making more employees more efficient, to now re-engineering every aspect of how we live. And along the way, it's of course altered how we live, how we work, and how we play, but it's also altered industries, and it's altering our business model as well. And why should media be any different? From live streaming video to our favorite movies, Hulu, Spotify, SoundCloud, binge watching, our favorite TV shows. I mentioned my 2 kids are here. How many have their kids binge watching all the shows in one afternoon? Anybody experience that? And then the next day you go in their room, and what are they doing again? Binge watching the same thing. Now, how many are going to admit that you do the same thing? Anybody here? Yeah, there's a few of you. And that dependable, expected business model is also a distant memory. You see, today, the digital connection between the creator and the consumer has allowed us to connect with each other much more powerfully, much more directly, more collaboratively, and more efficiently. And in the process, it's creating new challenges and new opportunities for anyone in the media ecosystem. The good news is that humans have decided that rich media is the preferred way to communicate. All forms of rich media consumption is going through the roof. It's going crazy. It's exploding. And lower priced tools have made it easier to create more content than ever. And as a result, the competition for viewership, listenership, advertising is more intense than ever. And this is actually the best part of the business challenge. Because most of our heritage clients, the people who've done this for a living, we know how to compete on great content. But so this is the most understood problem. Putting even more pressure on great content to rise above the noise of this explosive content creation that the world is experiencing today. But that's just one of the industry challenges. You see, it's really all the other challenges that are creating the real problems for us economically. You know, everywhere I go, clients are dealing with some form of the challenges you see up on the screen here today. They still need to create great content, we just went over that, and that pressure is more than ever. That hasn't changed. But now making it available to more channels and more device for most of our clients means more cost. And the biggest change, I think, is probably the pressure to maximize the value of each asset over a longer period of time. This is where metadata tagging, rights management, yield optimization, this is where channel optimization starts to come into play. Again, more cost to complete the entire workflow and the economic model. And of course, while we're doing all those things, you have to do everything more efficiently. Now, what's interesting about collaboration is creative folks, and humans in general, I would argue, would prefer to do things together, side by side, working hand in hand. But the combination of pressures on efficiencies and working with the best are causing people to realize that sometimes you have to work with somebody on another part of the world efficiently as though they're working next to you. And that's why collaborative technologies have become so important. And everywhere I go, every client is dealing with adapting to some form of these challenges here before you. You know, I was speaking to a board member the other day of one of the largest media companies in the world. And they said that it's these challenges that represent the most significant dilemma for their board. And the reason they were putting so much weight is they were saying it's impacting how they organize the company, the people they hire, and the technology tools. And they're reevaluating everything. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention the most popular topic of all today, security. Security has become huge in some way, shape, or form in every segment and every market that we deal with. Some of you know that I was in banking before this industry. I was in media before, then I went to banking, now I'm back in media. Well, the scariest thing about being back in media is a lot of my old friends are relaxing, retiring, but the scary part is some of them are on very important jobs now. That's a joke. Good, laugh track is working. Besides being in banking, I actually founded a digital fraud and crime company that maybe some of you have heard of. And I never imagined that I'd be talking so much about those same topics here in this industry. It is a rapidly intensifying issue. But you know what? We are already in a digital World War III. There are attacks literally happening all the time, every day, continuously, all around the world. No vendor, no government, no single organization can solve this problem. It's a collective will that will solve this problem. And technology has enabled the best and worst of our global community. The same strengths and weaknesses of our society are on full display here, and they'll begin impacting storytelling, just like they'll impact every other aspect of our lives. Because the good folks and the bad folks will be waging this battle globally. And it's not aligned around country or sovereign state. It's usually just around people who want to do harm to others. You know, for Avid, we have already invested in an array of security measures across the platform. And we remain intensely focused in this area, an area that we intend to lead. The way we're going to lead is by incorporating IT principles in a media-savvy way. Avid wants to lead in the media component of the workflow for security, because we know that the framework that IT department will set doesn't always factor in the needs of efficient workflow. This is where we think we can add value. Your assets are just too important for us not to participate here. Now, you're going to hear more about how we're moving forward in this area. You can check out the new security white paper and check out the security breakout session later on this afternoon. Okay, it seems clear that the world is filled with complexity, risk, and enormous opportunity for those who adapt. Our industry's in transformation. You know what's strange? As I visited the world and attended events, most innovations are coming from clients, not the vendors. And I felt like someone, anyone, needed to step forward, and Avid is attempting to show the way. Now, let's talk about the economics of our business. Don't worry, it'll be more exciting. Economics isn't exciting? Oh, okay, I thought I heard a collective sigh. Oh, great, economics. This is important now. Because sometimes when you're knee-deep trying to solve your problems, you don't see the bigger picture about what's happening to the business. And the challenges and changes that I mentioned have radically altered the economics, and it's impacting directly both the economics and the creative teams that we work with. Okay. You see, content creation is growing dramatically, as I went through before. That shouldn't be a surprise. However, the budgets are only going up a small portion. And many are surprised that they're going up at all. Now, all the work that we have to do to distribute and monetize that I mentioned earlier are having an even bigger impact on organizations because of its newness and its complexity. And so the effort going on to monetization is even more significant. And if you look at the budgets, which we pay a lot of attention to, those budgets are actually going up even faster. 3 times as fast. Now, the unintended consequence is the shift away from the creative side to the content. To the monetization side. This transition, these issues that we've been talking about here today actually are having a direct impact on anybody who's on the creative side of this business. And it might feel to you like you're being asked to do more for less. But it's actually a little more dramatic than that. There's actually a shift occurring to the dollars and the pressures of the business as a result. You see, you no longer have the luxury of just focusing on a particular function. If we can build the tools to monetize into the creative process efficiently, those budgets can go back to where they belong, into the creative process. You know, the problem today isn't just about a downloaded editor via the cloud. It's not about cheaper storage. It's not even about keeping up with the latest camera, codecs or changes or format. It's the whole thing. It's a comprehensive approach to workflows, and that is what Avid is trying to achieve. In the end, it's pretty straightforward. We need to connect the person with the idea to create content for enjoyment, pleasure, and education of another person, and just bring these two people together. Simply, more powerfully, more efficiently. But there's a lot of noise getting in the way. So how do we solve this? Well, it actually is going to take a number of folks. Legislators need to protect creative professionals. You know, I wonder, when did it become okay to steal from an artist? This has to change. Professionals, such as yourselves, need to adopt the latest technologies, embrace the new realities. How you create today impacts how you monetize. And if you want to sustain the joy of creating, we have to think about monetization while we're creating so it can be done more efficiently. Everyone needs to adopt common tools and platforms to make things more efficient. And vendors and partners collectively need to adopt open and controlled standards to also drive down cost. Things like automated tags for audio, as an example, that live with the file encrypted so you can't remove them, so that no asset will ever be used without the artist being compensated. We can get there if we work together. We must all do our part. All right, is it clear where we're coming from on the economics? Yeah? Yep. All right, then I'll calm down. I feel like I got that off my chest. We can move on. All right, and that's why we launched our 3 pillars. We created the ACA to collaborate more deeply with you so we can fight together to solve some of these problems. We launched the Avid Advantage, so we were showing an equal investment in servicing you better. Make sure it was aligned with the delivery models that you'd like to use. And of course, we introduced Avid Everywhere. And we've made progress, but there's a lot more to do. Now, let me remind you quickly about what Avid Everywhere is all about. All right. The idea was, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a reminder, and then we're going to get into the new products, but I wanted you to see how this built onto what we've done so far. So I think most of you have heard, hopefully those of you who haven't, write this down. You want to go over it at night. It's a very good way to end your evening, just thinking about Avid Everywhere. And that's what I do anyways. If you're looking for something to talk about on your date, Avid Everywhere is there for you. All these things Avid Everywhere does for you. The idea is to put all that is common between the creative and the consumption side onto one common shared platform. One set of tools where you can pick and choose the components that you'd like, and you can decide how you want to participate. Sharing as many of those services across the entire workflow, streamlining as much of the workflow as possible. And what if we all standardized on one common ecosystem globally? What if everybody here, and most of you actually do, but everybody in the world shared just one ecosystem that made everything more efficient? And you can decide how you want to participate by picking and choosing applications that work for you. So the first thing we did is we took all that was common for our own products. As you know, we've been in the business for 26 years and had a number of market-leading products. And the first thing we did is say, what's common amongst our products that we can take out and share onto one platform? But then we went further. And we said, hey, what can be shared whether or not it's our products or somebody else's? What if we took all those things onto one operating system? And so it's no different than your smartphone. Make sure I don't have any private messages here. Okay? Just like your smartphone, where underneath the applications that can be run by anybody, they all share a common operating system, iOS. And that's really what we're talking about with the Avid Media Central platform. A bunch of shared services that our applications or anybody else's can share, making common components more efficient. And I mentioned they can be our applications, they can be your applications, they can be any competitor's applications. We all share these common tools. How many people remember the connectivity toolkit that we announced just last year, connecting everyone through certification, trying to eliminate this integration issue that I estimated takes 25% of the cost of your collective budgets, including people. We even certified competitors just to prove the point that this is an open platform. And I know that surprised a lot of people. Now I can't wait for you to hear the hundreds that are in the process being certified, many of which we're going to be announcing here today in just a few minutes, so stay tuned. That's the Media Central platform. And then, of course, on top of this, all the applications sit. So I think you guys are familiar with the Artist Suite. That's where all our creative tools are. That's most of our heritage products. Media Composer, Pro Tools, Sibelius, etc. We then added a suite for things that had traditionally been done after you create the media file, but can be done concurrently, like automated tagging, protecting the asset, managing the asset, distributing the asset automatically to multiple channels and devices, social, and so on. Then, of course, we have the integrated storage suite, and the most recent suite we launched is the Marketplace, a totally new distribution and engagement suite, which I'll go over in just a second. Now, one thing I didn't appreciate when we launched this is how important choice is. Choice and flexibility, the choice for you to decide which applications you want to use, whether or not they're ours or somebody else's. Choice on deployment, you can use in the cloud, you can use on-prem, you can pay subscription, you can pay license. That flexibility strategically has become important. Also, comprehensiveness. It's also something I didn't fully appreciate when you and I spoke last year. You see, what I didn't appreciate is that we're joining a conversation that many of our clients are already having. Let's take 4K. HD upgrades, 4K, 8K if you're NHK out in Japan, whatever it might be. The point is that you don't have the luxury of just worrying about your video editor being upgraded to 4K, because what about audio? What about ingest? What about distribution? What about storage? What about asset management? And if anybody told you you can only do native 4K in one piece of the puzzle, it's because they're not thinking about the complexity and the cost of security if you're doing that. And if you want to use any cloud elements, the packet sizes. And if you wanted to store, the amazing increase in storage costs you'll have. No, you have to worry about the whole thing. And one thing I didn't fully appreciate is with this approach, we too have to join that conversation. Because we have to worry about all of those things as well. We have video, we have audio, we have to worry about ingest and playout and distribution. We have to worry about asset management and storage. We have to worry about cloud collaboration and marketplace. Because those are all components of the platform, either through us or somebody else. Totally integrated with choice and flexibility, deployment and pricing options, limited by your own imagination, your own business issues, not your vendors. That should be your decision, whether or not you want to be subscription or on-prem, or cloud, or license. Not mine, not your vendors. We shouldn't be limited. Now, this platform is designed for the entire industry to share. From the largest global enterprises to work teams to individuals, everyone can participate in the way that makes sense for them. And that is a reminder of Avid Everywhere. Everybody got it? You ready for your next date? Kids love it too, in the morning at breakfast. I mentioned that my kids were here, by the way. It happens to be their spring break. And I said you can go anywhere in the world, and of course they want to come with Dad to go to a conference. So they wanted to hear about Avid Everywhere too. They don't want to miss out. Now, when we rolled this out, the reaction was huge. And it was fun to see once people realized what we were actually doing. Because it takes a minute. For those of you who've heard it a few times, you get it, you want the beef. A lot of people, though, started with, it took them a while. It's kind of like, you know, a couple hours later, I got it. Well, a few big dreamers really got inspired. Taz, I want you to admit, I showed you how to walk out here, didn't I? And I did. Isn't he fantastic? Now, what do you think of that? Awesome, Diamond. What do you think about all this?
It's incredible.
It's incredible, huh?
Yeah.
And the best part is that we delivered on all the things that we promised. Everybody, let's hear it for Taz. It's amazing. Thanks a lot, Taz. I showed him more than walking out. I showed him how that turn at the end, too. And he struggled with the wave, but I was there for him. It's incredible, though. Really good. All right. You saw that journey that was possible for Taz. Let me now walk you through where we are so that you understand better what we're about to announce. We started with the Media Central platform. After that vision that I just shared with you, we came back and launched the Avid Media Central platform with the first shared services. It included media services for indexing. It included the connectivity toolkit to connect with other partners, one of the most talked about aspects. Orchestration engine for automating workflows. It included user and configuration for things like single sign-on. And of course, it included the Media Central user experience, allowing you to connect from any device, anywhere. We then linked the Artist Suite to the platform so that all of our heritage products worked on the platform. We came back and fully integrated our consoles. If you remember, the S6 was fully networked, and you may have wondered why. Well, one of the reasons we needed to network to the rest of the platform. We added subscription and flexible licensing modules, and then we added remote collaboration via the cloud. We then put the Media Suite onto the platform. We came right back with new modules when we attached the Media Suite to the platform. It included things like searching and retrieving across the entire enterprise, no matter where you stored the asset. We launched modules to manage media ingest so you can start working with your assets immediately. We added modules to quickly deliver content on the web, mobile, and social channels, all extending the workflow beyond the creative process, but all using the same platform. We then integrated the Storage Suite. Once we integrated Storage Suite, we wanted to launch some new capabilities. So then we delivered increased storage capacity and resolution support. And that was just out of the gate. That's what you heard last year. Going from an idea to a white paper, to a technical white paper, to a launch a year ago today. But there was so much more to do. And those of you who went to IBC in Amsterdam last September, we came back with several new announcements on every piece of the stack. We added resolution independence onto the platform, a completely fluid architecture for working with material in any resolution, SD, HD, 4K, and beyond, across your entire workflow. We came right back in the Artist Suite with powerful live show mixing and editing, portable high-performance music creation. Of course, we went to the Media Suite and we expanded content search across multiple systems. In the Storage Suite, we added accelerated ingest and playout workflows. Then, we integrated the newest suite, the Marketplace, onto the platform. A totally new collaborative and distribution suite for everyone. We announced our first 22 certified vendors onto the platform, but we were still far from done. At NAMM, just a couple of months ago, we announced the next set of innovations for Avid Everywhere. In the Artist Suite, we announced Pro Tools 12 with subscription and cloud delivery options like we did the previous year for Media Composer. We announced cloud collaboration onto the platform as a service so that you can collaborate with anybody, anywhere in the world, as though they're next to you. And remember, this is a platform service. What that means is any application that's certified can use that service as long as the app enables that capability. It's there for everybody to share in the entire ecosystem. And then something dramatic, according to a lot of the press, happened. We inaugurated our first line of artist products, within the artist products, starting with the first free version of Pro Tools, opening the gates for everyone, allowing everyone to tell their story. We probably have some folks from the Grammys here in the audience, and we were out there shortly after these announcements, and at a lot of the parties, I was disappointed that nobody commented on my clothes or my shoes. They wanted to talk about this free version of Pro Tools that they had heard about. That was really probably the most common thing they talked about after they said, "Hey, are you Mr. Pro Tools?" Kind of interesting. Big called a lot worse. This was awesome. It stunned a lot of folks that Avid, the premier leader in digital audio workstations, were giving away a free version of Pro Tools. And you know what? Tens of thousands have signed up for this product. And the first ones, the initial customers, are already using it. You should check it out. Now, in the marketplace, we came back with 4 mind-bending developments, according to one cool article. I think it was like mind-bending or mind-melting, one of those. Something was happening to the mind in the article. Okay? You with me so far? Picture the mind bending or melting. One of the two. The artist community. First thing we launched on the marketplace. This is where LinkedIn and Facebook got together, had a few too many drinks, and their child was, alas, Avid artist community. A place to meet, to connect, to interact, to collaborate with others. But while you're working, you want to be in the same plugins, the same applications, the launch of the App Store with certified vendors, in-app purchases, so you just keep working. Don't slow down. And after you have that wonderful Pro Tools session, and all of our friends and our moms have listened to the song enough, we store it somewhere in the cloud securely, accessible anywhere. And that allows you to work on it anywhere, maintaining all the work that you've done. So right here in Las Vegas, there's no reason at 3, 4 a.m. when you roll out of the club, you just get right to work, like normal, right? And then you can monetize it. You can post it onto the content marketplace to share with somebody else, in the example you just saw with Taz, or you can get paid for it. And the cool thing is, the license agreement will have already been paid for, and everything about that file is as though somebody else created it if they're using the Avid Media Central platform. And who uses it? All the largest media companies in the world can take your file record and include it in their workflow just like it was their own. I don't know how many languages I've been talking about this around the world where you see facial expressions of disbelief when we show how this works. It's cool. Make sure you check it out. All right. We've gone over a lot, haven't we? Huh? But there's still a lot to do. Yes. So far, so good. But now it's time to reveal the next set of announcements that represent the next steps in our collective journey through Avid Everywhere. And as you're about to see, we're fighting for anyone, everyone, who wants to be in the business of creating and distributing media. Are you guys ready? Are we ready? Okay, this one's got to be big because it's going to be posted on social. Let's make this real big. Are you ready? All right. Here we go then. All right, chill out. We'll get there. This is exciting. You know, this is so exciting that I actually think I'm going to need some help. Is that all right if I get some help out here? I mean, that's how exciting this is to me. So I've invited 2 guys to come out here that I work closely with to help join me and help out with this. Now, you know, we've been pretty busy the last 24 months, 26 months. I'm not counting how many days and hours I've been here, really am not. It's been busy. And along the way, we've been working very closely, very intimately, I would say, with some of our team members. Sometimes, you know how sometimes too intimate, you get to know them too well? Well, these two guys, I've gotten to know quite well. We have a lot of nicknames for them. I'm going to choose their best nicknames, Hans and Franz, who will come up here, and you guys know it, pump you up, all right? And I've even let them pick out their favorite songs when they come out to the stage. So make sure you make a lot of noise when you hear their favorite songs here. The first one I want to introduce, somebody some of you may know, Chris Gahagan, who is head of our products and strategy group. Come on out, Chris. Chris, you ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's get pumped up.
Let's pump it up. Let's pump it up. All right. Now, the second guy who's going to come out, the other part of the dynamic Hans and Franz duo, you also may know. This is Dana Rosica, who runs product marketing. Let's come on out, Dana. Now, when I let them, you guys like their music?
Yeah.
Good music? Two good choices. Right, which one's Hans, which one's Franz? Well, I have to admit, when I said, hey, let's let them pick out their own music, I was sure I would hear Let It Go from Frozen, from one of them. Didn't happen. All right, why don't we get going here? Starting with our first line. With Pro Tools first, we broke down the gates to let everybody tell their story. Every aspiring artist, every musician with big dreams. But what about the millions of aspiring filmmakers and videographers out there? Dana, tell us what we've done for them.
Sure, Louis. So today, we're very excited to announce Media Composer First, which is a completely free version of Media Composer that'll be available later this year. So with Media Composer First, now any aspiring storyteller, the indie filmmaker, the videographer, even the student just starting out, can use the same editing tools that the world's top television and film professionals use. Now, of course, it's a free version, so naturally it'll contain a more basic and simplified feature set. So, for instance, they'll start with 3 cloud projects and have 4 video tracks and 8 audio tracks to work with, but it's the same core tools that the top industry pros use today. And they'll be able to add plugins and effects to their projects right from the Avid App Store, add stock footage from our content marketplace, and connect and collaborate with others through our artist community. And finally, when they're ready to step up to the full version, it's a simple upgrade through a monthly subscription to Media Composer. So Louis, we're really excited to see what this next generation of storytellers is going to be able to do with Media Composer First.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana. Can you guys believe this? Did you ever expect it? What are you going to say to your budgets now that Media Composer is free? But it's just the first version. Don't get too excited. We are inviting everybody. Thanks, Dana. That was awesome. And we haven't forgotten about the established video professional. This is really our heritage. But it's such a dynamic market today. They need to be able to handle any project type that might walk into the door. So Chris, tell us what we're doing in this area.
All right, thanks, Louis. As many of you know, Avid has a long heritage in video I/O. In fact, it was just 6 years ago we announced our current range of products, Mojo and Nitrous DX. And with that product, we really set the benchmark for HD video monitoring. And now as you think about what we're doing with the Connectivity Toolkit and the power that our partners bring, and taking that with our heritage, we're here today to announce one of our new connectivity partners, Blackmagic Design, who's worked with us to design and deliver our next generation of video I/O. The Avid Artist DNX I/O. And what's cool about this product is you do get that stunning, high-resolution video output with your choice, whether it's UHD, 2K, or 4K. And then you get the performance that you need with our onboard DNX HR encoding. And of course, depending upon your workflow, you might use proxies. So we've also included H.265 encode and decode built into the system. And of course, you need choice, whether you want to connect with Thunderbolt or PCIe. And probably most important, to give you choice on the tools that you use. So of course, DNxIO will work with Media Composer, but out of the box, it will also work with Final Cut and Premiere just as well. So one solution, independent of what you choose for editorial, to deliver those stunning video images during video production. Isn't that just amazing, Louis?
Awesome, Chris. Thanks. That's good. Video professionals, you can see we're fighting for you up here. Great job, Chris. All right, well, you know that we haven't forgotten about our audio community, or about those of you who are training the future artists in the art of scoring or arranging music for film, for television, for live performances. Dana, tell them what we've got in this area.
Sure, Louis. So today, we're very pleased to announce the latest version of Sibelius, which is our industry-leading notation and scoring tool set. And with the new Sibelius, it's more accessible and affordable than ever. So users can compose with a low-cost monthly or annual subscription, own the software outright, or even manage multiple copies in the classroom with the Sibelius network licensing. The choice is completely yours. And we've made collaboration even better with this release as well, with new features like the new annotate capability, which allows you to draw and make annotations right within your electronic score, which is perfect for students and teachers in an online learning environment. And with this latest release, we're rolling out support for Microsoft's Surface Pro 3 with new touch gestures, which gives you hands-on control of your score right from the tablet. You can even change notes with the tap of a pen. So Louis, all of this comes together, making the latest version of Sibelius more flexible and accessible than ever.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana. What do you think, huh? What we're doing for composers? All right. You guys ready for more?
Yeah.
All right, because there's more coming. But what if what they really want is to have their work come to life on stage? So Chris, tell us what we're doing in this area.
Well, it was over 10 years ago, Avid really changed the live production world forever when we introduced our Venue line of products. These products quickly became the absolute standard for live digital audio production. So today I'm really excited to announce our next generation of Venue that'll take on the most demanding live tours or live performances in the world. So without further ado, the Avid Venue S6L. And the real cool thing about Venue, the team's done a great job. It's been re-engineered from the ground up using the most modern technologies. As an example, we have a new audio processing engine that uses a real-time operating system from interval 0. We use modern touchscreen interfaces, you can see on the top there, to give that very powerful experience when it comes to live production. Of course, we've maintained the tight integration with Pro Tools and support for a broad range of plugins, so you can take what you do in the studio to the stage and then back to the studio. And here again, we're proud to announce another new connectivity partner that's come on board, Waves, which has included within our audio mix engine, the Waves plugins will run natively. So you can choose and have the choice of the plugins you want to run on the system. However, there's one thing we did not change with Venue, which is the operating model. So if you're a Venue user today and you know how to use the system, you can step up to the S6L without retraining or relearning and be efficient right out of the gate. And then if that's not enough, we've had another connectivity partner come on board, Audinate, to give us connectivity into Dante, a networking standard for audio. So that gives you the freedom to network the S6L with our native interface, which is Ethernet over ADD, or Dante. Of course, we support MADI, Thunderbolt, and more. So that choice is yours. From our connectivity partners on the plugin side, to how you connect network, lots of choice here, and of course, plugins galore, more than 200 from Waves alone. So with that, Louis, the live community should be very excited about what's possible in live audio production.
Totally awesome, huh? Right? Now I can see what a lot of you guys are thinking when you saw that new console. Sexy. Huh? You didn't know I knew. We knew. All right. Thanks, Chris. That's awesome. Well, and you know we're always thinking about creative teams. That's where we started, and how to make their lives easier. So Chris, why don't you fill us in on what we're doing here?
Yeah. It's really been interesting, Louis. Over the last 25 years, a lot of you know that Avid has really pioneered the real-time media storage marketplace. And ISIS has become the industry standard. That's why I'm so excited today to announce the newest member to that family that has been specifically designed for small audio and video creative teams. The Avid ISIS 1000. And again, the cool thing about the 1000, it shares the same exact performance characteristics of its big brothers, but it's just been designed for the smaller audio and video post communities. It's a low-cost solution for collaboration. Again, as I mentioned, it's built on the ISIS file system. It supports the workflows you need, whether that's HD, UHD, 2K, or 4K. Right out of the box, it's 20 terabytes with 300 megabytes of throughput. You can stack 4 of them together to get up to 80 terabytes and 1.2 gigabytes of throughput. 24 simultaneous users. And for openness, the ISIS team has worked very hard, not only to support Media Composer, but out of the box, you get the exact same performance with Final Cut and Premiere. So again, your choice to use whatever editorial system you want with the best storage on the planet and get the same exact performance. And Louis, if you're Hans, it's probably portable too.
Awesome.
Hey.
Woo, let's hear it. That's going to be really powerful for work teams. And what about the large media enterprises, however, who need to manage media operations on a global scale? Dana, why don't you let us know what we're doing in this area?
Sure, Louis. So today, we're very pleased to announce the availability of Interplay MAM 5, which now completes our integration of the Media Suite. So with Interplay MAM 5, fully supported on the Media Central platform with support for the Media Central UX. So this means that anyone who needs access to media across an organization can easily search, browse, and even edit media using a very simple web-based interface from wherever they are. It also means that production assets, archived assets, and even media assets from our connectivity partners can all be indexed together in one pool of media and made available to anybody in the organization. And of course, Interplay MAM can manage the entire media lifecycle from ingest through production and archive, all the way out to delivering content to web, mobile, and social. So all of this comes together in Louis, MAM 5, and really brings together the Media Suite, allowing our customers to make the most of their media while reducing their overhead costs.
Thanks, Dana. Well, what do you guys think about MAM, huh? You can see with the enterprise-wide approach that we're taking, for large organizations, the media asset management has to be central. That's why we're excited about this release, and you're going to see continued pretty heavy investment. We want to lead the MAM discussion. Well, what do you guys think about the announcements this year? Let's hear it for all these announcements that we made. We're really excited about it. We've been working really hard. I hope you're pumped up about it, and I hope you check out these products. First, let's hear it for Chris and Dana. Hans and Franz, everybody. We've also made a lot of progress across the platform on several of our heritage products. Too many to name here in detail, but I encourage you to check them out here at the event or at NAB next week. All right. I hope this is making some sense. I'd like to spend a few minutes now to put everything you just heard into context for you, to help you think about how we're thinking about the various ways that you might end up using these products. Now, earlier, I mentioned that everyone will use Avid Everywhere and the platform differently. An individual, a work team, a large enterprise will be able to pick and choose the components that make sense for them. And sometimes, a person may use the platform one way for one project and a different way for a different project. That's the whole point. Well, I wanted to show you some examples of how this might work. Let's look at one example of how an individual artist, a singer, a drummer, composer, might get involved in Avid Everywhere. Check this out.
For individual artists who dream of a career making music, movies, or television, the challenge is standing out from the crowd and getting their voices heard. And Avid's artist tools and marketplace can help them overcome these challenges and make their dreams more of a reality than ever before. A young filmmaker who has a low-cost student subscription to Media Composer is working on his first big project for school. To make his project a hit, he'll need some help from artists with musical talent as well. Using Avid's artist community, he can easily search for aspiring composers and musicians that can create the perfect score to play under the open of his movie. A free and open online forum, the artist community exists to connect creative talent of all kinds from every corner of the globe so they can work together to achieve their creative vision. Designed with today's modern mobile workflows in mind, Sibelius 8 is a simple yet powerful music notation app that easily transitions between desktop, laptop, and tablet. With Sibelius, bringing your composition to life is as simple as sending it over to Pro Tools and the thousands of musicians who rely upon it every day to make the most of their musical talents. As musicians make their journey to the big time, Pro Tools fits their needs every step of the way. From Pro Tools First, a free, simplified version of the industry-leading digital audio workstation, all the way up to Pro Tools HD and a universe of plugins, I/O hardware, and control surfaces. Today's video editors are often faced with source media and deliverables with a wide array of rasters, frame rates, and codecs. With Avid resolution independence, they're free to work in HD, 2K, 4K, and even custom rasters, never having to worry about all of the different types of media they may have to acquire or create. While Pro Tools makes it easy for composers and musicians to collaborate on turning a score into a song, Avid Cloud Collaboration makes it possible for musicians around the world to interact remotely in real time to create that song. It's as simple as inviting the person you want to work with to a cloud project. You can use the integrated messaging and video chat to set the creative direction and then just start tracking. All the project syncing and media management is done behind the scenes, and they can store and manage their media securely in the cloud. Here, the bass player is laying down a killer groove on top of the guitar track that was already recorded. Whether artists work on their own or as part of a collaborative effort, they never know when they'll need that something extra to make their project a hit. With the Avid App Store, those magic elements are never far away. Editors and musicians can get the latest plugins from Avid's connectivity partners and easily add them to their projects. With just a few keystrokes, our filmmaker can add some exciting new effects to his directorial debut. The Avid Marketplace isn't just for obtaining creative assets. Artists can also share and sell them too. After taking the original score that was created by our composer in Sibelius, the guitarist can post her own rendition of it to her artist community page or even sell it on the Avid Content Marketplace. Once the filmmaker gets word that the track that he's been waiting for is finally ready, he can visit the guitar player's page on the artist community to check it out. Collaboration comes full circle when the filmmaker downloads the track written in Sibelius, recorded in Pro Tools, and finally delivered to his media composer via the Avid Marketplace. With Avid's artist tools being offered through free and low-cost subscription models, it's never been easier for individual artists to access the most powerful creative tools in the industry. And now, with the artist community and Avid Marketplace, it's never been easier for them to create and work together everywhere that inspiration takes them. This is Avid Everywhere for the individual artist.
Now that was cool, huh? And hopefully that put things in context for you. Now we know that creative teams have many of the same needs, but they have to think a little bit more about orchestration than an individual might. So here's a look at how Avid Everywhere might look for them.
The music that moves us, the movies that grab us, and the live events that bring us to our feet, they all require the efforts of a group of professionals working together as a creative team. These teams need to easily coordinate changes across a group of contributors, streamlining workflows and managing resources in competitive environments under tight budgets and deadlines. As a creative team, you need to be ready for any opportunity that comes your way. Now, with flexible subscription licensing, it's easy to scale up the number of Pro Tools or Media Composer seats to take on a large project. This lets you get the tools when you need them and pay for them only when you need them to keep costs lower than ever. Other times, you may need to find additional talent for the job. When it's manpower you need to scale, you can use the Avid artist community to find and hire from a growing pool of expert freelance talent. And if you need to find the right piece of content or plugin to put the finishing touch on your project, the Avid Content Marketplace and App Store brings a wealth of high-quality content and industry-leading technology right to your fingertips. As media professionals push the envelope to create the most engaging content possible, the size, complexity, and short deadlines of these projects make it critical to maximize efficiency. Because creative team members need to work in parallel, they need an easier way to distribute tasks and keep track of changes compared to what's offered with the manual file management that comes with run-of-the-mill cloud storage. With Avid Cloud Collaboration, editors, sound designers, and mixers can stay focused on their creative work while edit changes, media management, and project syncing are automatically handled in the background and projects and media are securely stored in the cloud. Supporting this high level of collaboration requires a flexible yet secure shared storage solution. The new ISIS 1000 brings many of the same performance and collaborative benefits of the ISIS 5500 and 7500, but in a streamlined form factor at a breakthrough price point for smaller audio and video post facilities. And to facilitate workflows across work groups even further, we're extending resolution independence across the platform with support for DNxHR in Interplay and Sony XAVC in both AirSpeed and Media Composer. So creative teams can work in any resolution, from low bandwidth proxies to mastering quality high-res more fluidly than ever before. Of course, the success of any creative team also relies upon the tools they use to make the world's most engaging content. For professional mixers, Pro Tools S6 is designed to simplify the management of increasingly complex projects using a combination of precision tactile control and intuitive touchscreens. Plus, its modular design provides flexible configurations to accommodate the unique creative preferences of professional mixers. Now, Pro Tools S6 users have a new module to customize their experience even further. The Master Joystick module enables mixers to intuitively position audio in an immersive 3D space. Creative teams are also found outside the studio, producing the live performances of the world's most popular artists and the sporting events of your favorite teams. And with the push to make these events more engaging, live production has become increasingly complex and the need to record live content has become universal. To meet these demands, the Venue S6L builds upon our vision for hardware design to give you the industry's most powerful, modular, and connected live sound system with unmatched processing capabilities to easily take on the world's most demanding tours and events. And with unprecedented recording counts and audio fidelity, it's the perfect front end for the Avid Media Central platform. Using Venue S6L, your live production is easily transferable across Pro Tools, Media Composer, and the Avid Marketplace. This is Avid Everywhere for creative teams.
Ooh, cool, huh? And now you see the magic that Avid Everywhere offers creative teams. But Avid Everywhere is also for the largest global media enterprises who have to connect and coordinate teams all around the world. So here's what Avid Everywhere could mean for them.
Today's large media organizations not only have to facilitate the creative process with artists and make workflow more efficient with creative teams, they also face an even greater set of challenges at the enterprise level. With media operations in multiple production centers that may be disconnected and geographically dispersed, the challenge is to connect everyone in a large enterprise globally. And with an ever-growing amount of content, the goal is to more effectively manage acquisition, connect production teams, utilize archived media, and orchestrate multi-platform delivery, all while minimizing overhead across the organization. Every story begins with acquisition and integration of media assets. For media enterprises like global news organizations, the challenge is to incorporate media coming from different locations and different formats. This can be time-consuming and costly, especially for news production teams that must work on multiple stories simultaneously. Access to their media quickly in the right format is essential. Avid Media Suite solutions such as Interplay MAM and Media Director centralize acquisition and automate complex ingest tasks, ensuring the delivery of content to the right people at the right time. And with Interplay MAM's ability to integrate with third-party ingest solutions, you can leverage and extend your existing investments. Ingesting media is simply the first step. Ultimately, it needs to be edited into a story. But large organizations often have multiple production centers spread out all over the world. And if these teams are isolated from one another, creativity and productivity can suffer, creating costly inefficiencies. To enable greater collaboration across the enterprise, the Avid Media Suite ties together multiple production centers such as sports, news, and drama. With Interplay Production and MAM, production teams can collaborate in real time and have access to all media assets wherever they may be. And Media Central UX provides a role-based user experience for anyone in the organization to search, browse, and edit media. But what about maximizing the value of archived media assets? Many large organizations have vast amounts of content, but the challenge is they may not have visibility into exactly what's been archived, and they can't always access material in a timely manner. This means there's valuable content not being utilized and ultimately not being monetized. Enterprises such as global sports organizations need access to footage that could be decades old because they never know when a player or game may become relevant to the story of the day. Avid's Media Suite solutions can archive virtually any type of digital asset, utilizing both Avid and third-party storage. From these archives, Interplay MAM and Interplay Production, as well as iNews, can efficiently search and retrieve assets using Media Index, providing instant access to relevant media, opening up new revenue streams for content that otherwise would have just sat on the shelf. With an ever-growing number of distribution platforms, media organizations need to quickly deliver content to a multitude of channels and devices. But disconnected processes limit their ability to reach audiences and extend their brands. Media Distribute, the multi-platform distribution module of the Avid Media Suite, automates and orchestrates the delivery of content to online, social, and mobile, doing all the technical heavy lifting in the background. For news organizations, this means breaking stories as they unfold on social media, mobile, and web, often hours before the broadcast. And of course, all of these Media Suite solutions benefit from the ongoing development of the Media Central platform, including 2 new platform-level services, virtualization and ancillary data handling. The Media Central platform, along with the Avid Media Suite, is helping media organizations around the globe more effectively collaborate and more efficiently manage every step of the media lifecycle. This is Avid Everywhere for the media enterprise. Woo.
Well, hopefully that gives you some context on how the platform can be used with the applications. And I can tell you what I'm really getting excited about is people are starting to appreciate what's possible by combining the applications that make sense for them. It's a global collaborative ecosystem for everyone who wants to be part of the media industry. It's a place where everyone has the ability to connect and participate in the joy of creating and consuming content. And by sharing services and connecting through the ecosystem, it makes it more powerful and more efficient for everyone. And the best thing is that you participate in the way that makes sense for you. Where you can seamlessly integrate with solutions from any other vendor that's certified to the platform, whether or not it's a long-time Avid partner or even a competitor. People are starting to appreciate the power of something like this Avid Everywhere could do for them. It's the power of a singer who needs a guitarist or a composer or a collaborator, and the power to connect that singer to the rest of the process, helping them protect and distribute and even get paid for their work. It's the power of creative teams, studios, and facilities to collaborate at the team level, wherever your best and brightest are around the world. It's the power of a large media enterprise to connect to creative artists and to distribute everything they need to manage their entire workflow from creation to distribution, globally and securely. For all the benefits of the billions around the world that are our collective audience. And you actually complete the ecosystem for those individuals and creative teams. Everybody gets to participate in the way they want and be rewarded for their contribution to the ecosystem for everyone else. You all have critical roles in bringing this joy to those billions that I mentioned earlier. It's more efficient and more powerful if you're all sharing a common, comprehensive ecosystem. Not just for audio, not just for video, not just for index, not just for storage, not just for playout. It's about the entire workflow. That's what we're trying to solve, where you can participate in the way you like on one common platform. And you can work with any vendor, whether or not it's Avid, yourselves, a competitor. This is what will solve the economic squeeze that we're all under and get more of your budgets back to where they belong, in the creative side, where the joy is. This is what we're building together. This is Avid Everywhere. One of the things that is most exciting for those of you who have ever worked on projects like seen so many of you visiting you, for us, we put on our headphones and we're not editing a movie, we're writing software. And we hope that people like and use what we create because it takes a lot of energy. And the most exciting thing is that the strategy is working. The market's responding and people are joining us. This has been actually one of the coolest things. From the very beginning, we saw immediate adoption of the platform, strong reception for each new phase that we've introduced since then, and steady growth throughout the year. The Media Central platform users are growing steady and represent some of the largest, most influential media companies in the world, including many of you. You know what's interesting about the subscriptions? The subscriptions on Media Composer in particular are not from those same groups. They're actually from totally new customers. 90% of our subscription growth that you see up here is from new customers coming from competitive systems. Because now they can get the best products packaged and priced in a way that suits their needs. All those award-winning Oscar movies, ACE Awards, whatever it might be, Grammys, you can get those tools now at a price point for you. You know, Media Composer starts at just $49.99 a month. Pro Tools, $29.99 a month. Even with this hair, I think I spend more on my haircut than that. And with the subscription, cloud, and first options, we're welcoming everybody to the ecosystem. And here are some recent stories I wanted you guys to hear.
We use the Avid Media Central platform on events like the Super Bowl, like the Olympics.
Thanks to the Media Central platform, that we have a level of collaboration between Pro Tools and Media Composer.
Vision of Avid very closely aligns with the services that we want to provide.
Avid Everywhere enhances what our current clients work for.
The ability to streamline the production path.
It allows us to trust that things are just going to move so incredibly quick.
It gives our production team more flexibility in terms of their creative process.
This is stuff we've never been able to do before.
Avid Everywhere delivers all of that for us. Thanks to all of you for sharing your stories. You know, with all these large corporations, it's not always easy to get approvals for these things. And I can tell you how important it is and how much it means to us for you to be willing to share your stories. It's not possible unless you help us get the word out. So thank you, we really appreciate it. Now, some of you may know that both my parents were educators. You're learning a lot about me today, aren't you? And my mother, Dr. LaRue, is actually right here in the front row, along with my children and my fiance. Before we close out, I have to acknowledge the important work of the 45 educational institutions who are training those dreamers like Taz, whose work we'll be admiring, I'm sure, in the future. We're fighting for you too, and we're proud to be your partner. Thanks to Avid Everywhere, your students will be able to experience the industry-leading Avid creative tools for free. And then step up to the full product suite with affordable subscriptions. Students and their mentors can connect around the world, collaborating with the best and brightest, creating music and films, using storage and the content marketplace to get recognized and even paid for their work. And we're making it even easier for students to get industry-recognized Avid certifications that they need to succeed after graduation. You're going to see even more from us in the educational area that supports the Tazes of the world, who are so critically important to the media community. And I can't wait to tell you what's coming next in the educational area. But alas, my time is running short here this morning. And while we've talked about a lot of different things, you've seen some videos, saw Taz, Hans and Franz, you've seen a lot this morning. And I mentioned that it is a fantastic time for our industry. It's an industry obviously in transition. And Avid has an unbelievable heritage and client base that I know wants us to win. And they're putting their faith and trust in us, as they have for 26 years. That's not lost on us. And we're trying to build on your heritage and really address the most important industry is it can be ambitious. You need support from the community. But what really excites me is that the demand for your work is greater than ever. Every piece of research people want rich media for every aspect of how we live. That's good news for all of you and all of us. And our role in society is actually more clear than ever, storytellers that is. And it's more important than ever. And I think that's something we can all be proud of. You know, but there are challenges. We talked about them this morning. The fusion of the digitization of the workflow, its impact on our business model, it's under pressure. Disconnected and siloed organizations and vendors. Proprietary technologies that seem intent on slowing us down, costing us money, and making things more difficult. Heightened security concerns, it's a lot, and I've just mentioned a few. And I hope you can see that Avid is trying to do its part. It's trying to add standardization, open platforms, more flexibility, greater collaboration, a comprehensive view of the workflow, more efficiently, and the best functional products on the market, with deployment and pricing options that are limited by your own imagination, by your own strategy, not by your vendors. You should have the choice. It's all about building an inclusive community where we can all participate when and how we want, sharing tools at a lower cost, allowing us to focus on what really makes us different and unique. You know, when I came to Avid, a lot of people ask me why. I've been part of high growth, market-leading situations. Avid, like a lot of category creators, had to make some adjustments. And you've seen our results. You've probably seen our stock price if you pay attention. We have made tremendous progress. But we've made that progress by working with you, our family. And I wouldn't have said that when I first came, but I can see how many people are emotionally engaged with what we're doing, and our employees emotionally engaged in what we're helping you do. A company like Avid, I think, has to step forward. Because we're part of the family. And this is also all we do. We don't do anything else. So I feel like if we don't step forward to lead, who's going to? We have an obligation to step forward on things that matter to all of us. Now it's true, it's been a lot to accomplish. Way more than I expected, if you're wondering. Some people have asked me that. Boy, is this what you expected? I'll admit it's a lot more than I expected. And many people have seen me in the region, in your regions. I'm sure I don't look good. You probably feel sorry for me. I would. But I have to admit I'm pleased with what we've accomplished so far. But we together are only beginning this journey. We have more to do. We have more to come. But we cannot do it alone. You have to join our cause. You have to get more involved on things that matter to you. Give us feedback. Help us solve your issues in a constructive way. You know, I think we all have a reason to care. We're all part of the same family. I've seen how passionate our clients are about the work that they do. Because giving everyone in the community what they need to thrive, to grow and sustain their passion is really what this is all about. Trying to help us, enable us to do what we love doing. It is a fantastic time. We can shape our future by working together. Avid's doing its part. Everybody's got to do their part. You can influence this amazing time because this is your world. And I'm excited for you just like I'm excited to be here with you. I hope you can see we're fighting for you, just as we did in the beginning 26 years ago. And we will not stop. Thank you for your partnership, everyone. Thank you.